don't have to eat like slaves anymore because we're not slaves.
If you cannot control what you eat, then you cannot control what you feel.
Eat your largest meals in the middle of the day, not the end of the day.
What part the homeostasis plays, you're on your way to healing yourself. The homeostasis is the internal environment where your body is at its ultimate functionality for healing.
Just keep in mind that everything that is happening to you is happening for you.
Hello, and happy Saturday to everyone. I am Carolyn, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. And today's topic is the best eating lifestyle to stay youthful. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Dr. Farid Zarif. Dr. Farid Zarif. Please subscribe and also share the live so we can have others be a part of the conversation. Happy Saturday to everyone. We are here every Saturday, 8 a.m. PST. So Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get the party started and get the party going.
Welcome. It's great to see you as always, Carolyn. I'm looking forward to a really, really wonderful presentation. Thank you to everybody out there for looking at viewing the footage that we're leaving for you to improve your health. And today is going to even be better. We're going to talk about those things that you can do as we continue to age. Now, all this beauty that you see right before you, all of that you have, we all have it. So let's celebrate in it. You still have many people that are fighting against it. You just can't win this fight. You can maybe think that you look a little better because you got this and that happening with yourself. Let's leave it like that. But believe me, this is a beautiful time of your life. So let's make the best out of it. Okay. All right. Carolyn, we have some any shout outs before we go on?
Shout out to everyone that's watching and everyone that's subscribing and liking and commenting. As you can see, this is a pre-recorded live. However, Dr. Zarif and I will be in the comments to say hello and answer any questions you may have. So please go ahead, make comments. We love it. We love reading your comments. And answering them, even if it's here on the live or if it's in the comments itself. Just let's pump out the live to others. So that's what happens when we like and we share and we comment. It pumps it out to others so they can be a part of it too.
Yeah, beautifully said. You know, we got just in case you're wondering, I know sometimes we're not here, and that's because we're still working. We have been invited to places where sometimes we have to jump on a flight and get out of here. Other times we can hit the road, get out of here. And there's many people now that are they're requesting more information about how they get their bodies prepared as we get older. And that's a wonderful thing to do. You don't have to be a person that is just aging. No, that's natural, and that's what's going to happen anyway. But what can you do to take advantage of this time? A time where you can rest more, you can be more at peace, you can be less reactionary. All those things that we did during boot camp, you know, and as you get older, you start doing things better. I'm a very youthful guy. This is just my personality. But we have other people that are even more calmer than I am, or other people that are even more excited, bubbly. So there's different personalities. The important thing is to find a way that you can live for the rest of your life, celebrating each day. And that doesn't mean drinking up wine and smoking some ganja. It means making sure that you are enjoying the life that you have and taking care of it, right? So that's what we're talking about. And
Absolutely. And you are the perfect person to do a presentation on staying youthful while you're getting wiser.
oh, thank you so much. This is very good. This is good, and I feel better every. Let me show you my chest. I want.
No, no, that's okay. Don't do
That's what most people do. We, you know, if you want to prove how young you are, just this. Look at this. Look at this. Uh, I don't know. Everybody got a different thing. But let's go ahead and get into it, everybody. We're talking about the best eating lifestyle to stay youthful. Now, what do you do to do that? Now, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about as far as aging today, is because there's so much stuff happening, and you as an individual should know these things. If you're getting older, we're all getting older. Some people don't believe it, but that's the way it is. So I'm going to go over with you a few things that you should already have in place. Now, when we're older, what happens is that a lot of times we think we got everything in place. Like we have our bank account in place. We think that we have our emergency numbers in place and all those things. I want you to think about that as we're talking to you today. We want you to think about what are the things that you can do that will make things easier for you if an emergency situation would come about. So the natural disasters, you know, such as the hurricanes, the tornadoes and blizzards, they may force you to evacuate from your home or your shelter in place, the shelter that you have in place. That can be wherever you live. And it's important for you to know that to do what to do in case of an emergency if disaster strikes. Now, if you are an older adult living in the community, you may face some of the challenges during an emergency. For example, you may have mobility problems, that is to get around. You might like, who's going to pick you up? Who's going to drive you out? Who's going to come and get you if things happen that you cannot do anything about? How about chronic health conditions? Like if you have a person that may be in a wheelchair, or a person that may not be able to walk, or a person that is bedridden. You can't get up and get around, and you can't get to a person that's going to help you. All of these are some of the things that you can start thinking about right away. Now, people at age of 65 or older, they're prone to heat. You know, right now we have what is called scientists have named it a heat zone. So the heat zone is, you know, like hot, where it's all the zone or areas, they get very, very hot. And people are like our elders or older adults that can't adjust to sudden temperature changes as fast as younger people, could be in big trouble. And this may happen because of certain medicines that people are taking for chronic illnesses that may affect the ability to regulate your body temperature. For instance, if you're taking perhaps whatever, it might be for blood pressure, it might be for blood sugar, you might be taking something because you get chronic headaches or those kinds of things. So when you mix those pharmaceuticals along with some of the natural occurrences in our society, in our environment, you know, our ecosystem just goes berserk like it's going now. It's sometimes very difficult to maintain your temperature. The heat can definitely be very, very difficult on you. And when not treated properly, heat-related illnesses can lead to death. And that is why we're talking about these different ways to take care of yourself if you're in extreme hot and extreme cold. Now, when it comes to extreme cold, older adults are more sensitive to the cold than younger adults. So this is a big difference because we continue to change. We're constantly changing because we're alive. We're constantly changing because this is a part of our systemic reaction and our systemic results. So our body's constantly doing things to keep us alive, to keep us healthy, to keep us energetic, so forth. Now, our body temperature below 95 degrees Fahrenheit or hypothermia. This is, again, remember, we're talking about getting very cold. We just talked about the hot situation or the heat zone. But the hypothermia increases their risk of heart disease and kidney or liver damage, especially if they have a history of low body temperature or if they have had hypothermia in the past. Usually, if you've had hypothermia before, it is easier to get hypothermia again. So take care of yourself so that you won't have to. So a lot of times, again, your sensitivity can change from person to person. And it's about finding out what is the best thing for you to do with your body. And make sure that you talk to your PCP. You know, they're people and they're approachable. Sometimes you've chosen like a person, if you've chosen a grumpy doctor, and I don't care how good that person is, if they're to the point where you can't communicate with them, and I'm very thankful that we're getting better and better with more and more professionals, healthcare professionals that are just absolutely wonderful. But we still have that minority, that small amount of people that won't change. And you have the option to choose the people that do change as life goes on. Now, creating a plan is super important. You got to write down exactly like those things, like if an emergency happens, who should you call? Who's the best person to get in contact with? And have an idea what that person is supposed to do when you do call them. How does a person get in contact with the people on your contact list? If there's money transactions that are involved during this emergency, what house do you go to? Who do you hit the road, or do you fly out of town? How do you deal with that situation? And we won't go over that now because everybody's situation is different, but you should have a plan there. Now, creating an emergency supply kit is super important too. I have one. Even in the car, I make sure that I have an emergency program. Even ever since out here in California, we had a very, very, bad earthquake where even the highways were broken down, or they collapsed, and there were people that lost their lives, and it was just a mess because who would have even known? So I asked myself, what would I do in that situation? It's like making sure that I have what it takes to take care of me and my loved ones during an emergency. After an emergency, you may not have excess clean water or electricity. So what do? You can't drink the dirty water, because if you drink the dirty water, you have a lot of bacteria. You have all those. Just think about the things that are on the ground that are, and these can be things that you didn't think about before. But many things can definitely taint the water, and that can make you very, very sick. And then instead of dealing with the emergency, you're dealing now with yourself being sick on top of that. Make sure that you're prepared with your own supply of food, water, and other items that can last you at least 72 hours, being that usually about 72 hours, somebody by then, but don't hope and wish. Make sure you write it down. And if it makes sense on paper, you have a better chance of it happening in reality. Now, creating an emergency kit can also include things like 3-day supply of medicine at minimum. ID band. That's what your full name, your contact number for your family members, your caregiver, and allergies that you may have. Some people have all of this happening, but they don't list it, so nobody knows, okay, what do I do now? This person isn't breathing. This person is choking. This person just fell out. Other things, hearing aids and extra batteries. You want to make sure that that's part of your plan. And you want to make sure that all of your medical supplies like syringes or extra batteries are available. Information about medical devices such as your wheelchair, your walkers, and your oxygen, including the model numbers and vendors. You want to have all of that in place, because if a person has to duplicate what you have or get something to replace what you have, you want them to be able to do that, okay? So these are just some of the things that are very important when it comes to taking care of yourself. If you're lucky, you're going to live longer. If you're lucky, you're going to have the opportunity to enjoy yourself. And you always want to be ready for those things that, those things that you wouldn't be ready for normally. Think about those things. Come back to this particular footage and take your notes so that you'll be able to arrest some of those problems when they come about. And you're not just out there like waiting for somebody or hoping. Hoping is not a strategy. A plan is a strategy. So now what I want to do, I want to go over a couple of things, and I want you to, this is a great time for you to write some of these things down. We're not going to hold you long here today, but we're going to give you enough time to start your own plan so that you'll have the best eating lifestyle and you'll stay youthful at the same time. You don't want to live a life that's running you down and you look like, disheveled and lost and rejected. So we want to do something better than that, and that is to have this plan. Now, let's move on to one of my favorites, and that when it comes to the healthiest oil, extra virgin olive oil. Now, I know a lot of you have, heard me say this before, but I am willing to bet. I'm willing to bet a cup of tea that you haven't done anything about it yet. So the extra virgin olive oil is one of the healthiest oils on earth. It's rich in healthy fats and antioxidants. The healthy fats that we talk about, the essential fatty acids. We talk about the oils that are great for our body and that help to reduce inflammation. So these antioxidants helps against damage to our cells, and it helps to reduce inflammation and oxidative damage caused by the imbalance of free radicals in the body. Diet that's rich in olive oil has been linked to lowering the risk of chronic diseases, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and certain types of cancer. Now, in particular, unsaturated fats. So some people call them MUFAs, which is the abbreviation MUFA for monounsaturated fats. They make up about 73% of olive oil. Now, some studies have shown that a diet rich in MUFAs may help to reduce the skin aging, especially the sagging of the skin. The neck, the under the arms, your chest, all the body sagging. So I know this could definitely step on a few people's toes when I'm talking about this, because they're like, I got to go and get me some olive oil. And this is very important because it can make a difference. Extra virgin olive oil is is high in antioxidants. The tocopherols, rather. I was doing that to sound it out for you, but this is very, very important that we have these things, the high amount of antioxidants. Tocopherols is very important too. Usually you will get a lot of tocopherols in vitamin E, or the E vitamin. That's very helpful to your body. And then we have beta carotene. Now we have beta carotene. There's also alpha carotene, and as well as the phenolic compounds that also have anti-inflammatory properties. So again, get out there and do it and start it. And don't be afraid. Make sure that you're asking your PCP, which is your primary care physician, and like, ooh, PCP, start using the language so you start taking care of yourself better and making the right decisions. Okay. I wanted to tell you about this study back in 2012 that found that people who consumed a diet that was rich in the monounsaturated fatty acids from olive oil had a lower risk of severe skin aging. And that's what I wanted to come back to, that because I know it came from my mouth, but I wanted you to also know what source it came from. Olive oil has strong anti-inflammatory properties that may protect against the severe skin sagging, skin aging, and chronic disease. So these are some very, very important things to add to your list. Now, for those of you that like tea, I suggest green tea, because green tea is another, just like the olive oil, the green tea is high in antioxidants, which can help you to fight free radicals in the body. So that means that it can help protect the body against oxidative stress, or the damaging of these cells as the electrons are doing their best to couple with, or to mate with, or to join other electrons. And during that process, they actually cause a lot of damage to the cell, then thereby having damaged cells. So when we eat these certain foods and drink these certain drinks, we then increase the amount of nutrients that we're bringing in our body to fight that off, to keep it from happening, and to keep our body strong, to identify, to seek out, and to get rid of any imbalances and those foods that are toxins that may do harm to our body. So when we talk about green tea, that's what's coming up next. The green tea is super important because green tea it actually helps to fight off free radicals. Now, free radicals, again, they are unstable molecules that are created as a byproduct of a normal cell function. So whenever we have these free radicals, they disturb the natural functioning of a normal cell. And they can also form in response to stressors from the external environment, such as ultraviolet light or tobacco smoke. So free radicals can damage your cells if they're present at high levels. You want to make sure that you get green tea, particularly in your body, again, because of antioxidants. And those antioxidants are called polyphenols. So polyphenols are the nutrients that fight against the damaging of cells. They're all in the same category. Specifically, it's high in what is called the epigallocatechin gallate. Now, the epigallocatechin gallate is, you probably recognize it if I said EGCG. And EGCG is a abbreviation for epigallocatechin gallate. Then there are also nutrients there called catechins. Now, catechins and another one called gallic acid These are other nutrients that may help to reduce the risk of heart disease, neurological decline, and that's your nerves being disturbed or not being able to remember or recall things. Premature aging, like a person that's 24 years old and they start seeing aging symptoms that early. You can start that early too, and you can help to turn that around and protect yourself against that kind of damage. You have beautiful skin, just like Care has. If you ever, when Care is up there speaking, you will see how beautiful her skin is rich and beautiful, and that is what we can work on to have a rich and beautiful skin. Now, the polyphenols are found in the green tea, and they may help to reduce external skin aging from internal stressors such as the sun and pollution by scavenging the free radicals before they damage the skin. So drinking this tea, remember, before, that means that you do the things that will allow you to fight against disease and these disturbances, the biochemical disturbances, disturbances by acting on the information that you're taking in. Write it in your plan. Okay. All right. We're at that little bit over the 30-minute mark. We're going to go back to the wonderful Care, and we're going to catch up with you in a few seconds.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. And thank you all for joining us. You are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Today's topic is the best eating lifestyle to stay youthful. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Dr. Farid Zarif. So thank you all again so much for joining us. This is a pre-recorded live, but Dr. Zarif and I will be in the comments. So go ahead and say hi to us. We're over there in the comments saying hi to you guys. So thank you all again so much for joining us. Dr. Zarif, great information. I love extra virgin olive oil. I put it in my food and I put it on my skin. So that's a great thing to add on to, yes, your everyday. Yeah,
it's you're absolutely right. This is good to put it in the daily plan, because one of the important keys or the secrets to the thing that one of the secrets to and it's funny because every time somebody say here are some secrets, that's the end of that, and how did you find out? So it's like, but anyway, we have fun with that. It is important to have the green tea because green tea does have strong antioxidant properties, and drinking that tea, just making the tea, letting it cool off, and then, or just, if you like, I'm just thinking about the heat right now, but it is great even if you drink it cold. So if you have ice green tea, is fantastic. So make sure that you add that to it. We want to thank all of you that are here today. As Care said before, we're out doing other things now. We're probably performing somewhere because we have fitness. That might be something that if your church or your organization wants to start to get themselves healthy, give us a call, get in contact with us. Our calendar is filling up quite rapidly, but you'll be glad that you did, because we have some really, really wonderful testimonials that people are just so happy to share with you. Let's get back into it, shall we? We're going to talk about some of the things that are very important. I want to go into what are called omega-3 fats. And the omega-3 fats are beneficial against heart disease, inflammation, and some other issues. Now, furthermore, research has shown that omega-3 fatty acids are linked to a strong skin barrier, and they may have helped decrease the inflammation that damages the skin. So again, omega-3s. Now, you can buy omega-3s as a supplement. They have omega-3s that are in capsules that you can just drop the omega-3 right in, and it dissolves and it breaks down in your body slowly. Now, those of you that may be purist, or you might say, hey, the gelatin comes from an animal. Well, all you have to do is then break it open, and then you can still get the omega-3s, or you can buy omega-3s in the form of walnut oil, of avocado oil, and there are some other oils that you can use. But again, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it, because once you overdo it, then we're not getting the kind of result that we're looking for. Okay, chocolate is next, or cacao is a wonderful dark chocolate. And when we think about that, we also think about milk. We think, the cream and the softness and all that. It is a science to make these wonderful, delicious chocolates. Chocolates is, that is one thing I love. When it's I eat dark chocolate, but when it's done correctly, it's very, very delicious. You don't need a whole lot of it. The dark chocolate is just a rich source of the polyphenols. Remember, we talked about polyphenols earlier. These are substances that will help to reduce some chronic illnesses, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and many more. And these antioxidants, they have different actions in your body, but particularly when it comes to the antioxidant flavonols. Now, flavonols, which are linked to numerous health benefits, they lower the risk, or it lowers the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and cognitive decline. Now, you know how important that is, because cognitive decline is trending today, is very, very widespread. People that are suffering from Alzheimer's disease and many types of dementia. So make sure that you add that on your list so that you can realize the dark chocolate contains these flavonols, and these flavonols that act as antioxidants in the body. Now, some preliminary research suggests that it may improve skin health, though more research is needed. So some people will overdo it, and just remember, the higher the cocoa content, the higher the flavanol content. And that will give you a good idea. Sometimes you might see a bar of dark chocolate, and it'll have a 70% cocoa, or it have 70% cacao solids. However it's written, this will give you an idea of its strength and the things that it can do for your body. Next, very wonderful food that I want, or substance that we need to put as far as helping against aging, would be your vegetables. And the vegetables are extremely nutrient dense and low in calories. So we want these wonderful antioxidants in our bodies, because they can help to reduce the risk of heart disease. You can help reduce the risk of cataracts and certain cancers. So this is really important. Remember, we're being proactive. We're not waiting until it happens. We're being very, very proactive. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. We're going to talk with Kara for a minute and see if we have any questions. And we're getting very near that time. We only have a few minutes left. So let's get back on here. Kara, what do you, from this, what are you feeling about what you're hearing?
I like that you mentioned to be proactive. Now I know that that can be something where people say, well, this is already happening. But being proactive just helps it to not progress to, where we don't want it to go. So being proactive, meaning drinking more water, meaning if you, just making that decision to make that switch, whatever you may be eating or whatever you may be putting on your body, in your body. So before the doctor says that you need to do a certain thing, just listening to the information that Dr. Zarif is sharing and saying, oh, that's a good idea. And then you make that decision to make that change. And then also, I like that you mentioned to not overdo it because I know when we find out about something that's good, it's like, ooh, olive oil, I'm just going to pour it all over my head and it's going to be all over my body. And, you just got to make sure you're doing things to where it's not being overdone. So I just love the way that you mentioned that and you put that out there. So that way we know there is such thing as doing something good for yourself, but overdoing it. So
that's beautiful, Kara. I'm just thinking about the word that most people are use is moderate. Just just eat that in moderation.
Yes.
And I've seen people right there on YouTube. They'll have this big old thing of let's say string beans, and they got the meat all hanging out of it and stuff. And then they'll take one pea and throw it to the side and say, well, moderation. And then they'll tear that stuff up,
Yeah.
because that's the way people really look at it. Some people look at eating in moderation. Everybody got their different ideas of moderation. Mm-hmm. But I like to use the word balance. And when I use the word balance, if you take something in half, balance is usually a scale and you have two things on the scale, and the one that takes it down is the heaviest and the one that's up is the lightest. Well, it's the same thing with your food. If you take maybe servings of rice and you take it and you go down the middle, and now you take the one half and you just remove maybe half of that, and then you eat the rest of it, then that is a way to remind yourself of balance and how to measure your food right on cue. And you will be able to do this every time. And it's just really, really helpful to you not to overdo it, because when we overdo it, we're just creating another problem.
Right.
We're eating to get rid of that problem.
There's a Black fitness page that I follow on Facebook, and it's funny because they put up a lot of things about fitness, but one thing is when you mention, or they may say cheat day, there's always a cheat day when it comes to someone that's eating healthy and everything else. There's that day where you can kind of do what you would like, and it's always said that the cheat day is not supposed to be that day where you just kind of eat to where all the exercise and all the good eating that you did maybe that week before, that one day makes up for it, so it's like so make sure. And also the cheat day is really supposed to be just like a cheat meal. It's not supposed to be the entire day of just doing crazy eating and just out of this world type stuff that just makes it you regret it, and then you just work all that time for nothing.
Well, here's the psychological part. The psychological part for me is that instead of people saying cheat, I would like for you to say reward. Reward day. You start doing things, you reward yourself for those things that you're doing now. You reward yourself for getting up earlier. You reward yourself for exercising. You reward yourself for not cooking as much or mixing your raw foods with your cooked foods. You reward yourself for that. Now, what would be your reward? We don't want to make another problem. A solution should not produce more problems. The solution reduces the problem. So if you're doing something and now you got, God, now I'm up here doing retail therapy. And when I was drinking all that coffee, I didn't do this. People have their own, it's in a minutia of these different ideas that make people feel good about what they're doing bad.
Mhm.
And everybody loves that. Just tell me something good about my bad habits. And that is something that's ongoing. But getting back to the vegetables, do you like vegetables, Karen?
I do.
I
Yes.
know you do. Yeah, that's is. Karen and I have known each other for a long time, and we pretty much know each other's habits. And one of the things that I can say is that the many of the vegetables that we eat are also high in carotenoids. And the carotenoids like beta carotene and lycopene. We talked a lot about lycopene, but
Yes.
the beta carotene, just like lycopene, some of the research suggests that a diet high in carotenoids can protect the skin against UV rays. That's one important thing because, right now we use the sun protection factor, and that is SPF 30 plus and over. But some research suggests that a diet that's high in carotenoids may protect your skin against those rays, which are the main cause of premature skin aging. When you get too much skin, and some people lie down in the to get a they sunbathe, and especially it's dangerous around the times that the sun goes to the highest point called the zenith. And so when it goes to that highest point, when it goes to the zenith, this is where it is hot. So between the hours of 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., you want to know that these are the hot. It doesn't mean that they're all gone, but the hottest point of the day is going to be right there. And when you go out and you start playing in it, even if you're on the beach, wherever you are, it can cause I didn't cause that. I've worked out before in the sun or played ball in the sun, stayed out there too long. And at first, nothing, I'm like, I'm cool. Everything's cool. Next time I'll put on SPF 30. But then I realized that my skin started drying up and it started peeling.
Yes.
Oh man, it was itching and peeling and flaking, and I stayed out there too long. One time out in the sun isn't going to take your life, but if you do these things over and over, they can be problemsome. Karen?
Absolutely. No, I think that is a myth that Black people feel that they don't need, or we don't need SPF, and that is something that is incorrect. We actually do need SPF. So,
That's right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, let's go on. Let's get back to some of these things. We're almost there. We're looking good. Some of the sources of beta carotene. We talked about beta carotene. These are in the group called carotenoids, and beta carotenes. Usually, you can think about beta carotene as those orange and the color of the pumpkin and sweet potatoes. All of those are great sources of beta carotenes. Many vegetables are also rich in vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is an antioxidant. And antioxidant, again, protects you or helps to protect against oxidative stress or cellular damage. Now, vitamin C is a very potent antioxidant. We usually have it in most things, and you can also get this as a supplement. But it pays it pays to get vitamin C and use it because it plays a role in collagen production. And I've noticed that I take vitamin C quite frequently, and it is a key or one of the things that we need to do in building as a building block of skin. But its production begins to decline after the age of 25. So if the skin that starts to break down after the age of 25. So we need to be proactive and make sure that we have the vegetables with the highest vitamin C content. There are fruit also with high in vitamin C content, but they can these vitamin C foods that are very good sources in vitamin C include the leafy greens, bell peppers, tomatoes, and broccoli. It's important to eat these vegetables of different colors, as each color represents different antioxidants that can benefit your skin and to overall benefit your health. Aim to have at least 2 vegetables at each meal. In the morning, you want to concentrate more on the fruit, and after your large meal, there'll be all vegetables. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't eat fruit at all, because some people say, I eat this, so I don't eat that. Well, yeah, if it's in that situation, that might be a good move for you. But remember, again, not to overdo it because of the fructose. And the fructose can definitely be detrimental very easily, because it's delicious, fresh, it feels like it's healthy. But when you overdo it, remember, that's the key, overdoing it. All right, let's keep going, everybody. Flax seeds are next. Now, flax seeds, you probably heard this, but these flax seeds got to be one of the best antioxidants on the planet. They contain lignans. Now, I know you heard some bad information about lignans. So what are these? That lignans are a type of polyphenol that has antioxidant effects, and they may lower the risk of developing a chronic disease such as heart disease, and ladies, breast cancer. This is really important to make sure that you take flax seeds. Flax seeds, I put flax seeds also in my cornbread. I take flax seeds and I put it in my smoothies. These are some of the ideas that you can use. They are also a great source of, wait for it, omega-3 fatty acids. That's what we just talked about, right? So omega-3s are very important, and they can be very scarce in as far as the choosing of foods, because most foods don't have omega-3. They're not a good source of omega-3 fatty acids, but they're great. Flax seeds are a great source of fatty acid, omega-3 fatty acid, especially the one called alpha linolenic acid. Alpha linolenic acid is ALA in short. Now, consuming a diet that's rich in omega-3 fats helps to support a healthy skin membrane by helping your skin to stay hydrated and plump. So adding all of these good things, like we just talked about vitamin C, we talk about flaxseed, we talk about the effects of omega-3 fatty acids. Oh man, this is really great. Well, flax seeds contain, again, the types of the antioxidants known as the lignans. Remember that. I know that there is a surgeon, this doctor that goes around and say they're dangerous, and that just is not correct. Do your research, find out for yourself, and you'll find out that what I am sharing with you is a very, for one thing, it's recognized by many of the organizations, health organizations, this research that have been done on it over and over, and that becomes the proof. That's what it's all about, that proof. We got to have that proof. Furthermore, they're high in omega-3, another omega-3 called alpha linolenic. Oh, I already said that. They're in ALA, and you'll see that at the supermarkets or in the health section, ALA, and this helps to support a healthy skin membrane. The pomegranates. I want to go the pomegranates. I don't know. I'm thinking polyphenols. The pomegranates. We used to call pomegranates Indian apples when I was a little boy. I don't know where we got that from, but I remember that. Like most fruits, pomegranates are full of healthy nutrients. They're high in fiber, potassium, and vitamin K, which helps to support a healthy heart. All of these are very important. If you go to most supermarkets, The pomegranates juice goes very, very fast. They're likewise rich in antioxidants such as flavonols, tannins. Now, most people didn't know that tannins is actually a nutrient. Now, some people say I don't drink wine, or red wine has tannins. I'm allergic to that. We'll get to that later. But for now, do your due diligence so that you can look at the word tannin, Tannins, along with phenolic acids and lignans. So we have so much disinformation. The disinformation is going to come from people who want to sell you something other than what perhaps what they're telling you about. And the misinformation is when you accept it and you say, I didn't know that what I was sharing is incorrect. So be careful of the misinformation and the disinformation. I'm going to go over one more because we're at that time, and that's avocados. I got to leave you with avocados because avocados are rich in these what are just called heart healthy fats. And these along with their heart healthy fats, fiber, just like we just finished talking about flaxseed, and we talked about pomegranates. See, these are just wonderful, wonderful ways to keep your body at its optimum. Along with the heart healthy fats, and we're talking about the EFAs, the essential fatty acids, there's fiber, and there's several vitamins and minerals that are essential to our health, and meaning that we don't produce them, we don't make them ourselves. We have to eat them and exogenously. So that's meaning outside, your body doesn't make it endogenously, or endo is inside, that our bodies make those. So this would be exogenous. And just because they're exogenous doesn't mean that you can't get them. It just means that you make that a part of your plan, and you'll be on your way to fight the free radicals, which we get every single day. So make sure that you are getting plenty of the avocados. Now, just to let you know again that avocados are mono unsaturated fats. What's another good monounsaturated fat? We said it earlier. Is what? Extra virgin olive oil, or extra virgin olive oil. When it's extra virgin, it just means that it hasn't been processed as much as enriched, or those other ways to heat extract it. It's usually cold pressed. And this is a best way to get your oils. Now, there's other things like tomatoes, collagen peptides. And remember the collagen that we get from vitamin C. Think about vitamin C. Think about collagen C. See there already, instead of thinking about, I'm using this for a cold, vitamin C for a cold, that's great too. But we want to know, you want to know the other meanings or benefits of the oil. Okay. And this is the different types of food with vitamin C. You want to use the extra virgin olive oil, the green tea, sometimes those of you that eat fat, there are omega-3s in some fats. Do your due diligence there, along with dark chocolate or cacao. And remember the dark chocolate that contains the flavonols. This is what acts as the antioxidants in the body. And then the delicious vegetables, especially the beta carotenes. And then we talked about flax seeds. Now, flax seeds, remember, we talk about flax seeds, they contain lignans, and lignans are healthy. Now, if you eat them in a large amount and they're not cooked, there might be another story there. We'll go over that later. But for now, know that flax seeds or the lignans in the flax seeds are just a type of polyphenol that has antioxidant effects that may lower the risk of developing chronic disease, in developing heart disease, or developing breast cancer. So let's get busy on that. Pomegranates, remember that. And we ended up with avocados. So thank you so much, everybody. This has been more than wonderful. I really appreciate it. And you have been listening to the comments on the topic, the best eating lifestyle to stay youthful. And these are the things. I am so happy because I know people are now going out to get that vitamin C, and now they know what lignans really are. They know what the fatty acids are, the essential fatty acids, and on and on. So I'm really great. Remember the beta carotene and anyway, I can stay here all day and just talk about it. So thank you so much, everybody. Care?
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for joining us here in the Mind of Nature. Our mission is to bring awareness, listen to your feedback. And now it's time for you to take action. Make that, take those notes to the grocery store with you and grab those items so that way you can start that journey of being proactive.
Yes, and we're definitely here to do a few things. We want to elevate that spirit. We also want to update to keep you on point, and we want to educate, and that is to get you smarter and wiser in making the best decision. So remember, we're elevating, we're definitely updating, and we're educating. And that's what really rings our bell. That's what really makes us get up to do these things. And it's time to change, everybody. Everything else is changing around you. Cars change to a new style. There's a new style of wearing clothes. There's, the frames on the glasses change. The food changed, packaging changed, but why are you still eating like you've eaten all the time and with no changes? And I'm talking about that food that can be deleterious, the food that can increase your risk of heart disease, that can increase your risk to obesity, that can increase your risk to many of the chronic diseases. So if you know now the foods that you can eat that can make you or lower the risk of disease, why not eat those that do that? Okay, let me get out of here because I don't want to get started. I appreciate it so much. Care, thank you so much for being here. We're going to see you next Saturday at 8 a.m. PST. And thank you so much for all your likes. The love that you give us is just extraordinary. We would not be here if it weren't for you. Remember, there's 4 things to keep in mind as we get out of here. You want to make sure that you have healthy food in that body. You want to make sure that you have a great environment of people around. Make sure you know that you can't just do this all by yourself. And I know a lot of you saying, oh, yes, I can do it. No, you can't. Get somebody that can keep you accountable for those things that you make a promise to yourself for. The other thing is exercise. Make sure that you're moving. You're doing things that keep your body active and lubricated and strong. You want to do that. That is a part of your youth. And lastly, the sleep. You cannot forget the sleep. Make sure that you have loads of sleep. You want to get 7 to 8 hours. Females can go with less sleep than men, but I that's not been my best recollection. But there's some women that can they can put some damage on some sleep. But anyway, everybody have a beautiful day. Carrie, you want to say some before we get out of here?
No, that's just it. Just have a beautiful day. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's funny that I say no and then I go on with saying something. But no, really, thank you all so much for joining us. Really appreciate you all. Thank you.
See you next